Today is copper foiling day. Welcome and thank you for joining me today and hanging out here today. It's going to be just a session of doing copper foiling. So that's the next steps in the stained glass process. I sat for a good straight 4 hours yesterday, and this isn't like films or anything, but 4 hours of grinding this to get it to, to look pretty nice like this right now, where everything is fitting perfectly. So I think, I mean, it looks good. So 4 hours is way too long to sit for a grinding session. So should have broken it up, but I was gone last week. I'll go through some stories. I'll tell you all the stuff, our kids had school off for the week. But anyhow, let's get started. Let's just start doing this because then I can be talking and working as well. Copper foil, I'm going to go with the black back copper foil, and we'll be doing the black patina. That's the plan. I think it's going to look good with that black, all the black lines for the patina, and that's what I'm doing with this here because we have some clear glass that will show. So we're going with the black, and that's pretty much all we need. That and a pair of scissors. Also, I'm just, I got this clipped on over here. I really hope this works because I didn't have a collared shirt today. This is all it is, just taping it to the edges. It's like probably one of the easiest steps. I don't think, once you see it for a couple of minutes, you'll just get it and you'll be on your way. So if you need instructions on this, all it is sticking it to the edges, balancing it out, getting it to lay evenly right on the edges there. And I've cleaned the pieces, forgot to say that. After grinding, there's lots of bits of glass and everything on it, so I dunk them straight into the water, rinse them off, and dry them up very well. So the edges now are very dry and they're sticking really nice. That's what you want. You want the foil to just stick right onto the edges here. So all you have to do is peel, stick, come back to the beginning. So wherever you choose that beginning to be, overlap it a little bit, cut it off, and you begin to kind of start folding the edges over. Pretty easy stuff. And towards the corners, what I do is use like a fid tool, this plastic piece right here, push it down, press on it, get it to stick to the glass, and just fold over your foil, make it nice and neat so nothing's sticking out, and then your foil basically just goes on the glass, looks really nice. And that's all you want. You just want this work to be as neat and like the lines are straight. The foil is sticking everywhere when you overlap it. Also want to make sure that's just some clean work, pressing it in. Using this plastic fid. There's some wooden ones you can get. You can use a pen cap, wooden stick of anything, whatever you think or whatever you have around. And just go for it. Just push it down on all sides. So that's all I'm doing. And that's pretty much copper foiling. So to do that for all these pieces today, it's gonna be, it's not that great. It's not that fun. But I have you guys, so that is fun. Okay, so that is pretty much, the copper foiling that we're gonna be, like, this is it. This is all I'm gonna be doing. Very repetitive stuff. Oh, sometimes the foil, you might see Not sure you can see it there or right on up on the camera over here. Trying to show this view. Dang, it's not coming in. Oh, there it is. Okay, so see that where the line is not straight? If you put solder onto that, you will see that step up, that little step, I mean, on the foil. So sometimes I like to clean it up. If I see it, it's like a bigger, like it doesn't look as nice, and I just take an X-Acto knife and actually cut that, you know, trim that piece and trim it off enough so where it just kind of smooths it out, and then it begins to follow the curve again. And you don't have to have it super nice, but like you don't want that step in there, you know. So that's about it. I think that's enough copper foil instructions for today. So I had a lot of good comments. You know, I asked like where you guys are watching from. I think I'm gonna keep asking that. I just like that. I wanna know where you're watching from. I wanna get to know you guys more. And so, yeah, please, if you haven't commented or if you're new to watching this, just let me know where you're watching from. It'd be kind of nice. You know, if you wanted to share that, no worries. I had one person commented, "Hello from the internet," you know. So, yeah, it's cool. You can say whatever you want on the internet, and you can be from wherever too. So, I'm gonna look at the comments. I'll let you guys know what we have, what you guys said in the comments. Oh, also, let's set this work session right now at an hour. I don't want to go more than that. I'm pretty sure this is not going to be an hour. It's going to be longer than an hour. But if it does exceed that, you know, an hour or something, I'm going to keep it at an hour and a half max for these videos. And if it does go over, or if my work goes over, I'll end the video and then I'll just continue on. Like the grinding last video, the grinding, you know, like the video was like an hour and a half. Ended up, I added about, I want to say it was like 4.5 hours. I think there was 4.5 hours extra, or maybe some other time that I got in here too. So like 6 hours, like, yeah, 6 hours extra on top of the 1.5. That's crazy, right? Like to do this grinding and to sit there and just do the work. It's not fun, but it's part of it. You got to do it, you know. So, okay, this is now the foiling session, and I have no idea where how long the time is going to be. So I will find out, and it would be nice to know, because I'm trying to keep track of this entire piece of how long it actually takes me. Truly, it takes me for something like this, and then you can get an idea if you were to do your own work, something similar, something the same size, then you can approximate how long that would take. You know, it's just good to know, and then you can calculate like, hey, if I want to sell this piece, what does it cost in time for me to make it, and what should I charge for it? You know, materials and all that stuff. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, I was supposed to look at the comments, and I want to read off some of what you guys had mentioned or said where you're from, because you're from all over. It's really good, really cool. You guys are from all over. So let's take a look. This will obviously cut into our time, but what the heck, I want to do this, huh? All right, so the Patrick M2410, following since the beginning, yeah, here in Western Massachusetts. So that's a long way for me, but thank you for hanging out. And you said you like the long form, so that's cool, because I think I'm going to keep going with it. The long form is like the only way I can get videos out to you guys, and if you want to watch it, great. And I know some people don't have the time or anything, so it's not a big deal, but you can drop in and see what's going on, see what I'm doing, and maybe learn some stuff. Hopefully it is educational enough too, where if you wanted to pick up this project and do your own stuff, the process and everything. So that's kind of what I was thinking I want it to be. So I don't know. That's yeah, I got Shy Phoenix from Oregon. A few years until I can retire. I feel like I think we're gonna see there's a lot of retirees out there, so you guys are hanging out with me. This is amazing. Let's see, we're Australia, Jan Cook from Australia. See that? Like, we don't have just people from the States. You got people from Australia watching. What? I got Southern California, Crafty Hannah, and retired, right? See? So we got a couple of you guys hanging out, retirees, maybe more, I think. And what else? Watching from South Louisiana, 70 Ronzo. Happy you are back. Thank you. I am very happy I'm back too. Virginia, Amy McMinnis. States, we got it's so cool. Like, people from all over finding me and watching the videos. I got a Brazil flag here, Arturo. Yeah, see, I wish I would. I've never been to Brazil. Maybe someday. I've never been to some of these states. Actually, yeah, I have to a lot of states. Benny Hume, Central Illinois. I was fortunate enough I was playing in a band, and we did a mini tour we've self-funded our own tour, and so we got a van and booked shows throughout the country, USA only, and just drove around the US, starting from here, California, Southern California, and went all the way around to, down south to Florida, along those states, and up to New York, Chicago, and then started heading back. I don't know what, we did about a month of shows. Very cool experience, amazing times. So I got to see a lot of the states, and I just wish I can get out there again somehow, but I don't play in a band anymore. Okay, so, Herb MC watching from Connecticut, recently retired. Congrats on that. So yeah, hanging out, Bob Schneider, Montana, and Jan Glass from the Netherlands. So cool. I have been there, so like quick trip one day on a layover for work. So I got to explore and run around there, and then left. So would love to go back to Cryptogenic. Hello from the internet. See. And Therese Varney, Washington State. Hey, Therese. I got my neighbor. My neighbor watches. What's up? Yeah, so sometimes that's very cool, right? And you know what else? So my neighbor, that is my neighbor Bob. He lives over here. and he knew that I was doing, actually he has a channel too, and so we chat a little bit about our channels and stuff. But Bob gave me some glass that he had leftovers when he was doing glass back in the day. So thanks, Bob. I got some glass. I'll show you guys that maybe later at some point. But I got some glass from Bob, so super cool. Thank you. And yeah, it's just a nice way to connect with people. I don't know how it works, but ever since I started doing stained glass, it's fun, like personally, just to do it on my own time, to do it privately. But then since like putting it on YouTube and putting myself out there, I have received lots of very encouraging, like good comments from you guys, and especially now, just being here like this, knowing that you're out there, maybe you're working and you got this video in the background, we're just kind of like working together, or you're retired and you're just watching and just enjoying, our time together too. So I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for your time. That's it. That's all, it's just so cool that I can do this, and I like, get to meet people. Like, how other people out there, sometimes they do like a meet and greet or something like that. At some point, it would be so nice to like get out and see, like, if I can meet people in real life. I don't know. I think that might be kind of nice. But yeah, I'm not planning that or anything right now, but I just think it's kind of cool, like if there ever was a thing that I could do. Far in the future, I have no idea. I have never thought about it. Just talking. Another Therese Frank from Montgomery, Alabama. And Kwok Todd, 1978. Watching from Korea, now in the Bay Area. I remember you commenting a while back. I can't recall which videos at all, but yeah, I do think I remember. So, it's good if you guys comment often. Then it would help me remember you guys, right? Because I don't have that great of a memory, but also, the more I see your name, and then yeah, I would remember you. So it would be nice. It is nice right now. You guys are doing it. You're commenting more than ever. That now that we're doing this long form type of videos, it feels so different. Honestly, like, I'm getting to know where you're from. I'm feeling like I'm connecting with you more, and I don't know, we just have more time together, so it feels good, instead of like a 10-minute, I'm doing all these cuts and like we're moving from scene to scene, and then boom, video's over. Like, hey, see you later. Here's the next video. Sometimes that's great too for if you want to grow your channel maybe, or you want to have more views on it. That's what you got to do, because you can grab more people, get out there. But I just can't do it right now. I don't want to get to that point, or I don't need to chase that right now. This is nice. You guys are here. One other thing that I wanted to say was, each video right now is like, I don't know, I publish it and I'll get like, 200 views, 300-400 views a video, and people have to remember that like 400 people in a room, if you were talking to somebody like in a regular classroom, let's say 50 people in a classroom, that's a ton of people to even just address and talk to, right? So 50 people, and you're just talking, teaching a subject or whatever it is, and like that's a lot of people. I can't even do that in public. 400 people, like that's scary, right? And because we're on video, it's like I can just talk, no worries, and I'm feeling more comfortable because this is just I don't have to think about really what to say and what the edit and everything now. So I'm just here talking to you guys. And this is so nice. I hate this process. Like normally I'm just sitting here like, man, this is boring. I hate this foiling part, and it never ends. It's like repetitive and same stuff. And maybe I have music on or something like that, but this is nice. This is really nice. I feel like you're here. I feel like you're just here with me. And then we can chat about whatever. It doesn't have to be about glass stuff, because actually I don't have anything else to say for this. I already did. That's it. You know how to do it. Riley Love from California. Gone to embroidery. Watching while cooking dinner. That's so cool. Right? Like, you're cooking dinner and you're watching my video. That's so wild. And if there's like 400 of you watching, I'll take it. It's crazy. That's so many people. So yeah, I appreciate it all. It's like, I remember just starting out and getting like a couple of views and being like, who are these people? What are they, like, how did they find me, right? I have no idea. I still don't know how you guys find me. Well, most of you are subscribers at this point right now. So thank you for that. We are at, I think, still 45,000, 45 right now. So that is also wild, beyond, like, think about that number. When I was mentioning the 50 people in the classroom coming to watch you, right? And, or, attend your lecture or whatever it is. And you have 50 people to fill a room, and then you can get 45,000 people to like what you do. Man, yeah, that's I don't know how we got here. Yeah, 45,000. That's where we're at. Kristen Glenn Bowes, Alabama. Another one from Alabama. SD Sweet Pea says, love your focus on perfection. Were you able to finish your kaleidoscope? It's actually right here. Still here. I mean, I have it. It looks cool. Like, you guys see? Right? It works. But I have this thing at the end. I was going to put, some spinning wheel, something like that. And then had some people suggest putting like a marble. So yeah, I haven't played with it enough, but it's right here. It's just like sitting, waiting for me to do something with that. Got to get back to it. There's probably a lot of things that I can do. There's a lot of things that you can do. And I don't know how I found this. It's just came to me, you know. Do you guys know the story of how I got started? Maybe I could tell you. If you haven't heard it before, or, you know, you're interested. But, because I have told it at some point, you know, but, I mean, I don't know. Some have heard it, some have not, so probably could just say it. I think I found out that, like, you can just say this stuff over and over. It's okay to repeat yourself. Because at first I was always like, oh man, I've already talked about this subject. Or let's say like copper foil. I've already talked about this. Like, who needs to hear more about this when they can just watch that one video, right? And I put out a video and it's like, okay, I already talked about it. So that means I can't talk about it anymore. And that's not true. You have to talk about it all the time. And even sometimes, like, if you watch one video, you get a little bit of it. You watch the second video, you're like, oh yeah, I didn't catch that the first time. So there's that. So it works either, you know, from people just missing it, or also new people. Because you got new people all the time coming by, watching, or to the channel, and they haven't heard it. They haven't seen anything. Completely new to this, and they may land on a video that has the info, or they may not, but maybe this one has the info. So it's you end up just repeating the same stuff, which is fine. I'm just trying to train myself more about that. Like, hey, it's okay to repeat the same stuff, you know. And I apologize for you guys that have heard it and don't want to hear it, you know, because then you're like, man, I've already heard this too. So. All right, well, we were talking about, let's, see, my brain's all over the place too. Let's get back into the comments so we can just finish that up. And then I'm supposed to talk about how I got into stained glass. All right, those are two, one thing after the other, right? So, Joanne Duncan from England, now in, I think that's North Florida. See, very cool. A lot of other different comments and things. I'm just trying to look for the ones that says like, hey, you know, I'm from this and from this. Okay, I think that's it. I think that was it. So yeah, getting a lot of people from all over watching, which means, all right, of course it cuts out right when I was trying to tell you guys thank you for finding me and being here. Okay, so this video thing, 30 minutes is all I get. 30 minutes and then it cuts out. So we're on our first 30 right now. The next 30 will cut out again. And then, look, I only got through like 4 pieces right now. Talking too damn much. I don't know, I'm doing okay. But if I don't talk, it's going to be a boring session for me. And maybe you too. All right, so we got done with the comments, and then I want to tell you guys the story of how I got into stained glass. Okay, so story goes. So I was in San Francisco. That's where I lived for 13 years. Moved out there with my wife, and we were like, we just wanted to start over, kind of live in a town that we wanted to live in, like a fun town, you know, we were younger. And so we just moved. Anyways, we were out there, and it's been, what, like 10 years or something like that. Just living there, working, you know, just trying to find our place and stuff out there, and or like just enjoying the place I meant, you know, just enjoying San Francisco, having a good time. And I was working and didn't really have any hobbies. I just worked. We'd go out to restaurants and whatever, go out with friends and just live like a normal, like whatever age, like 30s. You know, just doing that. And I didn't really have a hobby. I wasn't focused on anything. I was just working, and that's it. I had my dog, so that was really cool. For some reason, this one day, we're walking through the Mission. You guys are familiar? Anyone familiar at all? The Mission is there's a lot of Latin, Hispanic, like community out there, right? So there's restaurants, markets, and like a lot of people were moving out there because it was like a happening spot in the city. So there was this street. I already forgot. See, I mean, there's Mission Street, and then next to it was Valencia. So it was parallels Mission Street. And so we're out there, we're walking, you know, out there on a weekend or something. And that's usually what we do, like visit a neighborhood, go down the street, bring my dog, and we're just hanging out, walking around. And we go into this shop, and it's like a, some trendy furniture, like, you know, they sell furniture pieces or like smaller crafts and things, just some locally made items. Trying to think of what else they had. I seriously don't remember too much, but that type of store, right? Like fun stuff, like fun, like I don't know, gifts, gags, like things like that. And I didn't even pay attention to anything else. I see this stained glass that's hanging at the window, and you know, the sun's coming in, it's a nice, beautiful, sunny day. And I'm captured by it. I look at it and I'm just like, my mind was blown. Just looking at this thing going, what the hell is this? It's colorful, looks great, lights hitting it, and it's hanging. And the only thing I could think of was like, okay, somebody made that. Like, that's a handmade item. But I couldn't figure out what. I saw the glass and I go, okay, so it's glass something. I didn't know stained glass at the time. Never, ever paid attention to stained glass. Not on buildings, churches, windows, nothing. Nothing. Never seen stained glass before, you could say, like, never. Because I never paid attention to it. Like if you said, hey, that's you remember that stained glass that we saw back at the aquarium or something? I'd be like, I have no idea, like, what that is. Like, I seriously, I don't think I've ever looked through a glass window, stained glass window before. Like, that's how new I was to it. So I look at this piece, it's hanging, and I'm just like, man, I want, like, this is so cool. I want it. I want to buy it. And I look at the price tag and it's like, you know, I want to say it was like $175 or something. At least 100 plus, right? And I was just like, oh God, I can't pay for that. That's so expensive. I'm not going to buy that. Cause you know, I didn't know at the time how long this shit takes, like all this stuff right here, the work that goes into it, and like the art, you know. I just didn't have the money really. So I was like, all right, I can't buy it. But what is it? What is this thing? Like, figured it's like glass, right? So I know it's glass, and I think I was smart enough to say, okay, I think this is stained glass. Like somehow I don't know, maybe I knew that, or I have no idea. I don't think I knew that, but I go home. I didn't even take a picture of it. I wish I would have. Like if I took a picture of it and I knew what that was, oh man, maybe I should contact if that store still exists. Should contact that store and see who they had placed or who they had gotten that glass from, right? If that's even possible. Be so nice to thank that artist. It'd be so cool. Like, anyways, so I get home and instantly I'm on YouTube and I'm like, okay, stained glass stuff, how to make it, whatever, and things start coming up, and I'm watching videos and I'm like, whoa, this is so crazy. You can cut this glass and you can cut the glass to shape, and these people are like soldering this stuff together. I knew soldering. In my work, I do like engineering, technical work, building, fabrication, somewhat, testing. So some hands-on stuff, you know, I was learning hands-on things. And so I was soldering and I knew how to solder, like electronics solder. And so I was like, okay, I got that. I can do that. You know, like I've done it before. So okay, that's one thing I can maybe not have to buy. So the rest of it, I was like, okay, I need glass. I need a cutter. I need I don't know what else. I think that was it. I was like, okay, I need a cutter and I need glass. So I looked up some stores in San Francisco to see if there's a store, and one comes up. This store it comes up on Google Maps, and it's like a guy's garage. Doesn't even, like, it was his house. Like he lived there. I don't know how he got on Google Maps. So I go over there and I'm like, hey, I want to buy some stuff. I want to start, and can I get some stuff? And so he's like, yeah, you're gonna need you know, he sold me copper foil. The copper foil was old. It's been sitting like on his shelf forever, because I don't think he's a store, you know, he like makes glass and somehow he had it. Well, I mean, he makes it. So he has the foil. So I get the foil, it's all dusty and old. And then I don't think he had glass, or if he did, he had like big sheets of glass. So I was like, I don't want to buy a lot of stuff. Like, I don't want to invest a lot. I don't even know if I'm going to like this. So I buy the minimum stuff. I buy the cutter and maybe like the pliers or something like that. See, I'm not remembering anymore. But there is a store in the city, San Francisco, and it was called, I'm blanking out now, come on. Sun, starts with Sun. I gotta look this up. This is not fair to them. Sun something. Sun stained glass? Some. Oh, man. Come on. Cradle of the Sun. Shout outs to Cradle of the Sun. Cradle of the Sun was my first store, legit stained glass store that I picked up a lot of stuff from. And, you know, asked some questions and things and got some of the glass there. There's a scrap bin, glass scrap bin. So I went through that, picked out some glass, thought it was cool. And so I had some glass pieces, got the materials. What do I have? The foil, glass. That was it. I think that was it. I had solder at home. I had a soldering machine at home. And I was like, all right, check. And what else? I saw them cutting. And then they just wrap the stuff in foil. And that's it. You just solder it together. All right, good. So that's it. That's all you need. That's what I thought. So got my stuff, came home, and I was like, I'm ready to do a project. And now at this point, I'm looking at Instagram, and this is before, I want to say this is before, like, because this is 5 years at least now, right? So this is before Instagram was like, there's only like a few people, seriously, a few artists that, like, if you typed in stained glass, you would just see the same artist over and over. And one of them was Colin Adrian. He makes really cool feathers, like best stuff. Like, you'll see his feathers everywhere. He sells them everywhere. All he does is, I mean, he does more than that, but most of his stuff is feathers. So I was like, okay, can't copy that guy's feather. You know, as much as I like his stuff, I want to make my own stuff. And so I don't have to say, hey, I copied somebody. Like, that's not cool. People should not do that, right? So I started drawing my own feather. I thought feathers are cool. I think this is going to look really good with glass or in the glass form. And I saw some other feathers, and I was like, every feather that I saw, I made sure, like, yours or mine cannot be the same as theirs, right? Like, people cannot look at it and say, oh yeah, that's a Colin Adrian's feather. That's what I don't want. And so I was like, all right, just draw your own. It's not too hard. And so I did. I drew my own feather. Just, you know, came up with whatever, just to make sure that it didn't look like other people's feathers. And really, there was only like a few, right? So that happened. I made the feather, and I was like, all right, cool. So you guys have seen the feather. Maybe you haven't. This is it. This is my feather, the first one ever. My first work. Yeah, I wanted to put like a stem, a little tip on there, you know, could hang it off. This is my first work ever. Ever. And, okay, so did the glass cutting. Oh, it was I had time off from work, took off a day, something like that. So it was like a weekday, which was really nice. So it was just like real quiet time, you know, getting to sit in my apartment with my dog, and we're just hanging out, and I'm drawing this feather up, and I go, okay, I'm gonna do it. This is the day. Just getting real excited about it. Start drawing it up, tracing the pattern, and then cutting the glass, and it's like, oh, the first time, oh, excuse me there. Okay, so I make the pattern and I cut the glass, and you know, it breaks off wrong. It's like not the right like breaks or size, and I don't have a grinder. I had a knife sharpening tool. It was like a handle about this size, like, you know, about this small, and the end of it was like a grinding stone for a knife. So I was like, okay, I could do that, use that with glass. So some of the pieces I would get to it, and I'd be like, all right, let's grind it, file it down, and get it. And it would just take it'd take forever. This thing was like, it's so fine that it wasn't doing anything to the glass. So, but most of the time I would just redo the glass pieces. I would just be like, okay, that didn't break right. I gotta do it again, because thinking my cutting was not as bad. And so going into it, redoing it, and being like, okay, this is satisfactory, right? This is fine. Let's move on to the next piece. So finally, getting all the pieces, and then time to do the copper foil. Fair enough, easy process, and using my fingers, just using my fingers. Oh, back it up. Cutting the glass, no oil, right? Just cutting raw, straight, like dry, nothing, no oil. Just cutting it and being like, this cutting sucks, and like, man, why is this so hard? And you know, making it happen, like the glass happened, like it got the glass to the piece that, you know, and the pieces that I wanted, like that and stuff, like the shapes, right? They're all straight, pretty much straight, no curves really. Or maybe this one's a curved one. So yeah, so that happens, and I do the foil, and I'm just using my fingernails, like scraping it on there, right? Because nobody on the videos that I saw talked about like, hey, use a FID, use something like this, and press it in really hard, like burnish it into the glass, so it looks good, right? It holds. I didn't know that. I didn't hear that at all. There wasn't much on YouTube. There was a couple of videos, and there wasn't much really. And I struggled a lot because I didn't really have a lot of instructions, and I didn't have anybody to talk to. Maybe like I could have asked Creator of the Sun, but also he would have been like, well, come take a class. That's what I have a class for, you know? Like, I'm not gonna tell you everything, like I got the class. Right? Like, take my class, you'll learn everything. And I should have done that. I planned on doing that. But I just wanted to do it on my own. I wanted to just try it out and see before taking a class. Like, I wanted to see if I was interested in it or not. So I did it on my own, did the foil. Foil's done, and time for solder. And I'm like, I got this. Should be pretty good. I've soldered before. I got this soldering machine, and I got not flux. I got a roll of solder from when I was from school and stuff too. So I had solder, and I was like, all right, let's go. So I do the solder and cover it all, and it looks like this right here. Looks like that. Flat, and there's spots there's like gummed up, like gummy things all over. Everywhere. Couldn't figure out why that is. And, you know, like why it didn't flow, like it wasn't sticking on nicely and all this stuff. So obviously it turns out I didn't use flux at all. No flux at all. The flux was the flux that was inside the solder. It was it wasn't solid solder. It had the flux core inside, which is sappy, and it just gets all over the glass, right? And or all over your work, and didn't know that that's what you're not supposed to do. So I thought, oh, this is like just me being bad with the soldering and not understanding it. But it held together, it came together, and this piece right here became my first work, and I was so thrilled. After this, I couldn't believe that I did this, my first stained glass piece. And after this, my mind was going, what else can I make? I want to make some more stuff. Like, I got to design something else. I want to do another project. This is so cool. Like, I'll get better. And that was the bug. That was it. It just got me. And after that, I started thinking about new projects. I want to say it was probably like another feather or something. Yeah, I think chronologically that's what I did. All my videos were videos of me just making one thing new after another, after finding, or going from a project to project. And then at that time I decided, okay, I think I like this enough. I want to continue. I also thought, there should be more instructions on YouTube, like really specifically for stained glass. And giving tips, like what kind of foil should I use, They just said, use copper foil. Okay, what's copper foil? And I had to, I found out from somewhere, like, hey, use 7/32, like that's a good start. And I was like, I didn't even know they had foil sizes or backing color for that matter. So yeah, like things like that. So I felt like, okay, this needs to be shared. It would be nice if I could do this, work on my stuff, and also share it with people so they know the process and the steps, but finding out the mistakes before having to go through it themselves and waste time on it. So, you can learn from me because I'm doing it and I want to do it. So whatever I learn, I'll share. That was the idea of the channel. And I guess this makes another story for how I got started with the channel too. Yeah, this is kind of good. But yeah, so that was that's how I got started with stained glass, and also how I got started with the channel. And I guess to add on to that, just trying to think of a name. And I just thought, okay, I gotta have stained glass in it so people could search it and be, and find it right away. Like I searched YouTube, stained glass, how to make stained glass, something like that. And what comes up? And you see all these videos, and it was like somebody's channel, some art channel, like whatever it was, and it wasn't like stained glass channel. So said, all right, we have to have a name, stained glass something. And as you can imagine, I'm doing the DIY stuff. I'm figuring it out on my own. Figured other people would want to figure it out on their own, and with the help of the videos that I would put out, it's a bit like DIY. It's pretty much DIY. You're doing your own stuff. You're figuring it out. And if you got some videos to watch, you can figure it out better. Stained glass DIY. That's it. We're at 45,000. And it's been launched in 2018. So we're going on our 6th year. We'll be hitting 6 We'll be hitting 6 in August, September, somewhere there. 6 years, man, wow. And just, you know, watching a lot of what's happened, like on Instagram, how it's grown. It blew up, I want to say. There are so many artists now, so cool. Like, people have started from all over. People they're starting to sell their own stuff, right? Like, that's amazing. People are making money off of it, businesses. It's just so cool. It's so cool to see the growth of it. And so, yeah, I feel very good that I decided to do it and that it got me. It just, like, you know, it was something that I felt passionate about, and still want to do it. Like, it's very cool to make things and see it come to life. Handmade, you know, all the work, this freaking hard work. You're sitting here for days and days and nobody's seeing that, but at the end, like, yeah, that piece is very unique. And also, if, you know, people can do it on their own. That's the coolest thing. You can make this on your own if you want to. And it's going to take a lot of time, but you can do it, you know. And I think that's the best, knowing that, like, other people, like, when I started, I didn't think that I could do it or know about it, right? Like, if I saw that somewhere before I had the mentality of, like, hey, I think I can try and make it on my own. This comes for a lot from my work. When where I was working, a lot of people around me, basically every single person at work was a maker. They would have their own projects they would do after work or be interested in, and, you know, be all kinds of builds and things. And we're talking, like, big stuff, like including Burning Man stuff. So big installations, art installation stuff. So a lot of big things. Even at work, we were building, the stuff we were working on was built in-house. So fabrication, all that stuff was made in-house. And so I got to pick up all this stuff from work, and only from that I felt like I might have some skills to try and do this on my own. So really, I have them to thank, you know, for, like, the self-growth in me. Yeah, so I want to share that with people, you know? Like, you might think that you can't do this, but it's also because you haven't been exposed to making this or being around people who you've seen make this stuff. And so if I can show you that I can make this, and you see these steps in real time, you know, or whatever, the edited videos and stuff, then you'll know what it takes, and you say, okay, I can do this too, right? Like, once you cut a piece of glass, you're like, holy shit, this is real. Like, I can shape the glass. I can make this happen and turn it into something like this. And then hopefully you'd want to try it out and feel like, hey, I can do this too. So a lot of, you know, like, in wanting people to want to try and push themselves and feel like they have the ability to do it too. I think that's probably the best, most rewarding thing that I get to do here. Empower people, hopefully. Yeah. So we get to do that, you know. Comments that come in from people that say, hey, I got started because of you, watching your channel. And like they made their first piece. It's like so cool. Like this thing is gonna hang and it's gonna be there maybe after we're gone, seriously, right? Like it's probably gonna outlast us. And which is nice, because then that gets passed down and the work gets passed down and their children and whoever gets to enjoy it and say, hey, like grandpa made this, you know? I think it's a cool thing. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, so that's my story. Yeah. I don't know how it happened. I don't want to get randomly emotional here. We got a lot of pieces to go. All right, so the video has stopped twice. It's basically an hour now. I think maybe I don't know, maybe I could this is 1 hour of like just this on the outside pieces. It's probably gonna be like 5 hours here. I don't really know. I don't know. It's gonna be a long time. Yeah, I don't know where to go from here now after talking about that. It was kind of nice to relive, though, how it all started. You know, it's this channel, I never thought like I would get to this point, right? This is so many people. It's crazy. I think it'll grow. I think we'll grow. I think it will just keep growing slowly. You know, it hasn't grown like it did. Obviously, I think COVID has a lot to do with it. During that time, COVID, everything was growing during COVID. From crafts and people wanting to get into stuff, right? So, it's settled down a lot right now. But I think still doing fine. And it really doesn't matter. I'm not looking at that. I don't think I want to measure that anymore. At first it was nice. You know, I think it would be nice to get to like the 100,000, where you get like the 100,000 subscriber little reward plaque or something like that. I think that would be nice, you know, but okay, so that was the hour mark, so just about there. It's pretty good. Yeah, so, but yeah, like having the 100,000 would be a nice number. But yeah, I'm almost like halfway there. It's fine, you know. Right now, I just want to do the work. I want to put out some really cool pieces. I want to continue the craft, get better at it. Because I've stopped this for a while, and it's you kind of lose some of the stuff, you know. Like I haven't touched this in a year, so I'm coming back to it. Feels good. Yeah, it feels really nice. But yeah, I want to make some cool stuff. Hopefully, I'll keep getting some good ideas and having new projects to do. I could try out new things. Play around with some copper foil, get into lead work. So go back and forth on that. I think it's fun to do the lead stuff too, because that's pretty new still. So this one will be foil plus, I want to say, either I'm going to do hobby came on the ends to wrap around it, or maybe do like a bigger lead, the edges. So I'm not too sure yet. We can decide on that later on. But you guys are with me. You're hanging out here with me today. You know, you're kind of just following along and stuff. Thank you very much for this. Spending time with me. I do appreciate that. You know, this is going to be forever. So I will wrap it up. I'll just be here. I don't know how many days this is going to take. Oh yeah. I was going to talk about the absence last week. This thing we left off, and I was like, yeah, I can do the next day for sure. And of course something comes up, and then we have the weekend, which I cannot work. Then I totally forgot about the whole week being President's Day. And instead of being President's Day, my kids' preschool is off that week. So they took the whole week off. So it was President's Week, and we just had the entire week off. So we had the kids, and we just, you know, we went on a trip. Drove down to Big Sur, which was super cool, very beautiful down there, for a couple nights, 2 nights, and then just came home and we're just around at home. And I barely got out to do any work. I barely can get out to do any work, but that's okay too, right? So, yeah, so that's how it is. And right now, I don't know how long this is going to take for this foil, but I feel like I can do a good chunk of it this week. I want to move along and finish this because I don't want to let it sit again for a whole week. So all I can say is I'm hopeful I'll be able to get this done in a few days, and be able to get into the soldering next. So that'll be a big one, just sitting here doing the soldering work too. But honestly, I mean, yeah, something will come up. I don't know what to talk about. I didn't even know I was going to talk about my stained glass story, but that was kind of good that I did that. So, all right, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you very much for hanging out with me, truly. And it was nice to share my story. I really enjoyed that. Having free time, full time to share the true story, the real story as I remembered it. Yeah, maybe we'll talk about, I don't know what we'll talk about. Oh, there is a cool thing I'd like to talk about. You know, may have seen it or heard of it or whatever, but it's that cabinet back there. It's a good story with that too. So I'll leave that for next time then. I think I'll just wrap it up, and hopefully I'm reminded to talk about that next time. I'll try to like make note of it or something, but if you can, please leave a comment. Let me know where you're watching from. I would love that more than anything, even more than the likes on the videos. Even though the likes help a lot for myself to know, like, oh, there's this many people that like the videos and stuff. So, but yeah, let me know where you're watching from. That'd be really cool. And if you want to comment anything, whatever you want to comment on, it'd be really nice to hear from you. Okay, so we'll wrap it up, and I will get this video up to you right now. It's gonna happen today. Yep, still got time, so I'll put it up right now, and then I'll pick up doing all this stuff on my own, and then I'll see you guys on the next one for the soldering work. So, a few days, but thanks. I'll see you.